Yan. Okay, now we are public.
Okay, June.
JV. Wala na naman si ano, si Kuya Paul.
Where's the ghost of Paul?
Yeah, no, he's here. He's
and
he's
for
not
those
good.
avid listeners, we got to hang out. Me and June got to hang out. Like he went cross country, and I entertained him for about 2 days, and had a really great time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, that was really cool to finally connect. Actually, you know, JV and I have known each other for I don't know, few years,
2+ years, yeah,
yeah,
3 years
3
almost.
years now. Yeah. So
yeah.
and it was the first time that the 2/3 of the June and Paul show with JV people connected. Which there was a lot of eating, a lot of hanging out with a few different people that was there. Let's see, ano pa mga ibang
and don't worry, Mrs. Barja, walang mga bomba. We were Boy Scouts. We were Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts. I don't know what you're talking about now. But
we got to hang out with Freddie and Marie.
Yeah, we got to see that would be Freddie Roach. We got so JV over here was connected to the wildcard gym from the yesteryears. He decided to go take me over there. And while I was getting geared up, because apparently we were going to start working out and doing some stuff at wildcard, I'm over there getting my gear at Sambayon sa sasakyan. And then I see JV walking across the street, going over there to talk to Freddie Roach. And I was like, oh, snap, that's like him. I was like, what do I do? Do I go up? Do I wait for him to call me? I don't know. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go hit it up. You know how funny it was trying not to go fanboy, like, hey, Freddie, what's going on? But that was a pretty cool trip.
He got married recently. He got married recently for people that don't know. So
yeah. So she was there too, got to meet her. And then the other thing that we got to do was go check out the Wak Wak headquarters with the Wak Wak sticks. We're over at Francis Place. Got to hang out with Big Boy Scrimador for a little bit. And then there is the Lantayao Villabrel clan.
Are we allowed to say that? Are we copyright infringement?
I don't know. Pwede ba yun? So you know, actually, yeah, they were a part of the Villabrel Argusa group and stuff and whatnot. And I guess there was a a nice little group that existed there in LA. So got to meet up with that group, which was pretty cool. And then of course got to meet up with some of the Bakersfield Delano guys as well too. So they so there's a lot of systems that's out there that still kind of exist. But outside of that, let's go into tonight. What we got for you tonight, since copyright
copyright strike.
Because we got like some copyright issues. I'm gonna tell you like this. We've got Marcaida Kali on board for tonight, and then Panday sa apoy. Kuya Paul and I were like we're talking about that. I was like, hey, you know what? We got the guy the Filipino version of it, but I guess a little bit why I decided wanted to make sure that to get RJ on board here. I knew RJ from the yesteryears back, early years, I don't know, 8, 9, or 10, somewhere in there, with their brothers, Kidog and Jason and stuff and whatnot. And from what I know within their system, he's kind of been leading the pack as well there too. So I'm like, you know what, but you kind of don't hear from him, but I know he's involved, and I've seen these guys move, all of the 3 brothers. And I was like, these guys are doing something. So it's time to kind of get to know them. So that being said, I'd say it's probably about that time that we bring some people on. RJ, let's go. JB, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's bring him on. Hold on. Let's see. Make sure I'm recording first. Yeah. Let's go. Yan. Drum roll. Oh, boom. There is. Tekala, how do I have this gallery view? All right. That's good. Yan. Oh. Yung toys. Wala kang You gotta unmute.
Lalaro siya Star Wars.
Kumusta na? Welcome to the Jun and Paul Show with JV.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Oh no, I've been looking for this for since we last talked several weeks ago. Teka lang. Yep, and we actually got one more. Speaking of Apoy entering the room. Teka lang, hold on. We got our third host coming in too. Teka, let's see, he's coming in. But uy.
Uy, sino yun? Babae yun ah. Ano yun, girlfriend?
No, that's HDC. Oh, nasa ano to? Let's go. Let me change it to this way. Let me go speaker view para makita muna. Okay, there you go. Until he figures out the thing. RJ, anong pinapaglaruan mo dyan, by the way? Anong toys yun?
It was Star Wars versus what's this guy's name? I don't know, Master Sergeant. That's where I get my techniques from.
Kala ko Star Wars against Frozen eh. Si Elsa Doll or something. I saw
guy's name. I forgot his name. What's his name?
Master Chief.
There you go, Master Chief.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's where I come up with my techniques.
Can't get any more technical with that. See how they move there.
That's why I suck.
Yeah. RJ, when was the last time tayo nagkita? Was that like 2008 or in the 10s?
That was a long time ago.
That was you guys were at the house and
with
the family, and I couldn't remember, and it's like, man, tagal na.
Yeah, you hosted us, and man, the food was great. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that was a while back. Yeah. Yung mga less grace pa tayo dito and stuff, and
I met you through my brother Jason.
Yeah, who was also all connected with Miguel and everything else that was there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let me introduce you to the rest of the crew muna dito. Yan na, si Apoy is here. Apoy is Kuya Paul.
So many names.
Yeah, welcome to Panday sa Apoy episode.
June.
That was my suggestion earlier, by the way. So we changed the name.
Yeah.
Good evening, RJ. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. So
finally meet you guys, even if it's just virtually.
Yeah.
Correct.
We'll be crossing paths here at some point or another. So, where first of all, saan ka ngayon? Saan ka ngayon, RJ?
I am in upstate New York in Rochester.
Oh, Rochester.
So that's like a 5 to 6 hour drive from New York City. So every time I have friends coming to New York City, they're like, hey, RJ, let's meet up. It's like hours away. Yeah.
Dang, that's
I'm an hour away from Niagara Falls.
Wait. Yeah, I actually have family over there too. So
where? Upstate New York?
No, yes, where you're at.
Oh, okay.
I never thought about that. It's only an hour away from Niagara Falls. Oh man, that's pretty close. Yeah.
Yep. So we're in the. I'm pretty much so you're 1 hour. Yeah, an hour 15 to 1 hour, depending on traffic. From the Canadian border.
Awesome. Well, then
those illegal immigrants.
So tanong ko lang, RJ, kasi kinakamusta ka ni Bon, regards san mo interviewin, sabi ko kay Jun and Paul. But I gotta ask, yung accent dyan sa border, is it kind of like Ypsilanti, Michigan? Meron ba mga A? You know what I mean? Meron mga yung Canadian na banat na ganyan, mga A, walang ganun.
Hindi, wala naman. Not for New Yorkers up here, but Canadians, yes. Mga aboot.
A boot. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, about becomes a boot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but not so much for New Yorker. Not for it all. But the funny thing is, I always joke with people down in the city, New York City, that they think we're Canadians up here now.
It's far enough north na parang Canada na din.
But exactly.
Yeah. They like to use A.
Yeah, exactly.
A.
Yeah.
But now that we kind of get connected here, I wanted to kind of like kind of share with the rest of the community and everything, kind of who you are, what you got going on, and all the little special things that you got going on from the yesteryears. But I know. I guess let's start with this.
Wait. You mind if I ask him something first?
Oh,
because I was late. Can you speak Tagalog? Can you understand Tagalog?
Bisaya pa.
Bisaya ba? Okay.
Lawas. Ang timing
Baka
mo
mamaya
speak
kasi tanong ako ng tanong Tagalog.
Hindi, trilingual pa.
Trilingual. Very good.
I will try another language.
Kasi marami tayong mga viewers na nasa Pilipinas. So most of our target, we are targeting the mga arnisador sa Pilipinas.
Yeah.
So hi to all your million fans in
millions.
the Philippines.
So millions and millions.
Umaga dun, di ba? So, kumakain ng long silog. I hate you.
Yes. So that being said, let's take a quick look at some of the people saying hello on on the stream here. Sachi live from Calibayan. And then we'll share Florida here. Actually, Florida na kami. Florida. Oh, JV's in California. Tapos si RJ is out of New York. So man, we got all the major cities, coast pretty much covered. Lance Velez, good morning, good evening, guys. Richard Pacman, hello from Kansas. Bagong ahit. Sinong bagong ahit? Ewan ko sa inyo. I was like, not me. Sabi ni Sachi.
Wait, see Lance Velez? I think I know that guy.
Yeah.
Baka yata siya, di ba?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Juan Bautista, tens.
Nakamusta ka ni Von?
Kuya Von, kumusta?
Yeah. Errol Ballesteros, Gents, New Jersey, and Brian Brian Rodriguez there. So hello everybody.
Hello everyone.
So let's dive in here. First and foremost, if you guys don't know RJ here, Marcaida Kali, Panday sa Apoy kind of, guess. But let's go first on the background. Kailan ka dumating dito sa Pilipinas, sa US, RJ?
Yeah, tell us something about you.
Yeah.
I was born in Cebu, up until like first year high school, and then I moved to Manila. And then around 1988 was the first time I came here. And then after a year, when I finally got my my papers and all that stuff, I decided to go back to school. It was cheaper to go back to school in the Philippines, so umuwi ako. So I went home and I finished my college there, and then I graduated Manila Doctors. And then I came back here 1996 because living in Manila, I actually decided to stay there for a little bit, no? And then my mom passed away in 96, so I suddenly had to come here. And I guess it was her dream for me to get my citizenship. So I decided to take my citizenship, and then I stayed here enough from 96.
Oh.
And since then, 1 year after staying here in Rochester, I just couldn't stand the cold. That's when I moved to Fort Lauderdale. Orlando first, and then Fort Lauderdale. And then I came back again here around 2003.
Yeah. Kailan ka Fort Lauderdale? What year was that?
From 97 to 2003.
Oh,
so mga 6 years, yeah.
Yeah. No, dang. Okay, so I remember you guys were all here at Florida at some point, pero I remember pero hindi I guess here in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, then so
1988 ka dumating ng Amerika?
88 first time ko, tapos I stayed there for a year.
Halos magkasabay pala tayo. 86 ata ako or 87. Kaso ako diretso rin ako sa malamig. Diretso ako sa Chicago. Winter time pa, January, ang lamig.
It was the same thing for me. So when I came here, I'm like, di naman malamig dito. That was from the airplane, looking from the airplane. So may pagbaba ng airplane, paglabas ko, I'm like, who would put a city in a place like this? Yellow hanggang bewang na yung yellow. I'm like, nah, first thing they said, don't eat the yellow snow.
Correct. At least they warned you, am I right?
Yeah. I know. At least, and the cold here is very different because it's wet cold. So parang your ears, you can't even feel it during winter. Parang, I don't know.
So na-experience mo yung di ba? Nakatayo ka. Ako kasi na-experience ko, nag-train ako eh. Hindi ko alam kung tatanggalin ko yung gloves para punasan yung ilong ko or just let it drip and it becomes frozen.
Yeah. It's really bad here. Yeah, Chicago is more windy, right?
More windier, yeah.
More windy.
Yeah.
Here was a lot of snow, although the last few years there hasn't been a whole lot of snow, pero it's one of the coldest parts in the US up here. Buffalo and Rochester, yeah.
Yeah. Matt, let me ask you something. Kasi nung dumating kami dito, all my relatives wants me to take me downtown, take me to tour or whatever. I mean, it's the winter, in the middle of winter. I was like, holy shit. Luckily, I'm a little bit younger. I'm like, this is horrible to take your guest or your family to see the city.
I know. So nobody really wants to come visit me here, except during except during summers, probably because they want to see Niagara Falls, no?
Correct, yeah.
But in Florida is where I got a lot more visitors because everybody wanted to see either Miami or
Disney.
Disney. So that's where I had to meet a lot of people, and and Florida. Although I love the Florida, driving from Fort Lauderdale is the worst for me. It was just flat. There's nothing to see.
Well, the occasional landfill. The occasional landfill. Teka lang, bakit Rochester ang napuntahan nyo?
My mom was here already.
She was there already.
Yeah, she was here. She remarried, and then I think she worked somewhere in Jamestown, which is not far from here. Oh, and then Rochester is the next closest big city. So
I don't know.
Dito siya napadpad. Kaya nga, every time when I came, I'm like, Mom, why?
Yeah, okay. That
have been Hawaii or somewhere.
Yeah, daming pwede mapuntahan, and I was like, Rochester, bakit Rochester? That makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. So gonna dive in here for a little bit on the martial arts side.
Oh.
You were big on Yao Yan.
Yeah, so
yeah, tell us about that. So
when I lived in Cebu, I was raised by my uncle, and he was a Shotokan black belt. So he started teaching me. He took me in he raised me like a son. He started teaching me karate, and then few years later, that's when I moved to Manila, but I still kept close contact with him. And then, actually, I was still in Cebu, and we had in our house we had some Thai boarders from Thailand, students.
Yeah,
that were in Cebu studying, and they would stay with us. And one of them was a Muay Thai fighter. So he and my uncle sparred, and my uncle, got his butt handed to him, and he goes, third down black, but he decided to switch to Muay Thai. So because RJ, from now on, we'll start doing Muay Thai. So that's what we did. When I moved to Manila and I stayed with my father, then keeping in contact with my uncle, I asked him, could you still train with the Thai border? He says, no, not anymore, but he still continued Muay Thai. But he goes, Archie goes, what I want you to do is seek out Yao Yan. I go, what's Yao Yan? It's like the Filipino version of Muay Thai. And he goes, you will want to learn that. If you like Muay Thai, that's the way to go. No, that's our version of Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So I sought it out. He gave me the names of who to look for, and I ended up going to Quiapo with trained with at first with Zapata. So he was the pride of Yao Yan, the top fighter then. Yeah. And then so trained with him for a couple of years, and then I came to the US, and then thinking, galing-galing ko na, no? Yaw yan. I thought it was...
You're a badass.
So I thought, no?
Yeah.
And when you're young and ignorant, that's what you think. So when I came here, and then you see Americans, and all of a sudden you see this 6'4", 225 linebackers.
Yeah.
Biceps are bigger than my thighs. I'm like, how am I gonna fight these guys? These guys are huge. They're just gonna pick me up and slam me in the ground. I'm like, mahihirapan ako nito. And that's when my brother actually was in the Air Force. He dug, and that's when he says, "Have you He goes, Arch. He goes, have you thought about Kali?" I'm like, "What's Kali?" He goes, "Kali, that Arnis." He's like, "Oh, Arnis is Krima." I'm like, "Yeah, of course." I'm like those guys with sticks. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You should learn that." He goes, "Why?" Weapon-based tayo. And like, paano pag walang kahoy?
Yeah. Google questions.
And that falls down to, into the colonial mentality of, we lived in the Philippines, but we didn't know about anything about Eskrima or Arnis at that time.
Yep.
The popular thing, the one that was on the rise, was Taekwondo at that time, no? So, and then Doug started showing me some clips of Gurudan Nasanto, and I started seeing both the sticks and empty hands. I'm like, wow, this is more than just sticks, no? I'm like, so that's when, like I said, when I went back to finish college in the Philippines, that's when I sought out Kali Eskrima also. And but I still continued Yaoyan, no? Because I was diehard Yaoyan. I mean, to me, even till this day, in terms of empty hands, that's still my mother art, no?
Yeah.
But when I went home, at that time also, Doug had trained with Edgar Sulite here in the US. Now he took some seminars with Lameco. So I had seen, videos of a lot of people doing Eskrima and all that stuff. And I'm like, wow, I was amazed of kung paano pumalo si Edgar, no?
Yeah.
So I went home, and then when so while I was going through college, I decided to seek out Lameco Eskrima. And then I heard there was a competition in SM EDSA, an Arnis tournament. So I went there, and it's by faith talaga, no, that the first guy I saw walking around who was competing, I had asked him, "Excuse me," he goes, "Nagko-compete ka ba dito?" And he goes, "Yeah," and all that stuff. He goes, "Have you heard of Lameco Eskrima?" I'm like, "Do you know the Edgar Sulite group?" He goes, "Oh, he goes, yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I know the group. He goes, "Come follow me. If you wanna, I'll introduce you to the Grandmaster." I'm like, "Grandmaster?" I'm like, I thought I didn't know anything. So he led me straight to Tatang Ilustrisimo. So actually, so Tatang was in the competition, and Edgar and them actually, of course, were students of Tatang also before in that group. And just to remind you, that person actually, I don't know if you guys know him, is Sixto Carlos from the Carlos Hermanos brothers.
Okay.
In Manila, no?
Yeah.
Yung kapatid ni Baste.
Kapatid ni Baste, yep.
Yep, kapatid ni Baste, yep.
So, actually, yung nilapitan ko was Sixto, yung kuya niya. So, na-timingan lang talaga. And siya natanungan ko, tapos he led me straight to Tatang. We started talking. And then that's it. So, and then when he led me to Tatang, right there with Tatang was actually also my first instructor, si Jun Pueblos. So Jun Pueblos is Lameco, and he was the right hand and the best friend of Edgar Sulite when Edgar was still in the Philippines. So it was by faith talaga. I mean, we kid about it. I'm like, if you didn't walk up to me, you probably would have been doing Taekwondo.
I got a very personal question, because that's one of my styles, right? You got to meet Hans too, right?
Hans
of Lameco.
No, not in the Philippines now.
I was trained by 3 of Edgar's, backyard original students. I was trained by Felix Valencia. trained by Eric Ko, which is his first student in the U.S.
Okay.
And I was also later on. I trained with Roger.
Oh, Ragbulos. Yeah, so that's in the U.S. now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So June Pueblos was always in the Philippines, and he now lives in the UK. But when he left, when Edgar came to the US, I ended up training with June in the Philippines and sila Sixto. So sila the Carlos brothers were kind of my mentors, and then June was our instructor. And then that's how, since then, we became very good friends. And then that's when they started taking me with them to Luneta.
Wow.
Yeah. So I started training there in Luneta with, I started training in Luneta at first. At first, they didn't, I ended up training with Tony Diego na after that. Because.
Master Diego, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think, so June was medyo lelo na siya, June Pueblos. So I ended up training with Tony Diego. And Tatang already was a little too old na. He really didn't teach that much. You just had to. He was already advanced age na kasi. Yeah. So you just had to watch him move and all that stuff. That's all you could do. But he could not teach anymore.
Meron akong transitionary question dito kasi pag tinatanong yung kapatid mo, ang nasabing isang background niya, Marpato Puti, yung silat, tapos tinuruan siya ni Omar Hakim, which is a known disciple of GT. So iba kayo ang ang inyong branch, right? Iba ang inyong.
Iba. So yeah, although I met Omar. So Omar,
because during that time, well, at least in like the late 80s up to about the mid 90s, that was kind of like part of the same circle that did the seminar circuit together. It was like Guru Dan, GT, Omar Hakim, Steve Sampilo, Neriotica, and then Edgar Solide. Those are like kind of like the history at that time of like late 80s to mid 90s or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're the one who's circulating mostly in the US.
Right.
So so bali natututo ka ng Arnie sa Pilipinas, yung kapatid mo dito sa Amerika.
Sa Amerika, yeah, mostly.
Kasi
but he would fly back and fly back and forth to the Philippines after a while, no? But,
so Air Force din ba siya? Air Force din pala kapatid mo, huh? So yeah, nag-Air Force din ako.
Yeah.
One-termer lang ako eh.
Kahit naman, siya 2 terms yata or 1. Pero
ginamit ko lang yung GI Bill para makatapos ako ng pag-aaral.
Ganun naman talaga. Tsaka matalino, US Air Force, di ba? May sariling kwarto, may aircon pa, may sariling bahay.
Huwag ka maingay. Wala kami mga bunkmates.
Yeah. But yeah, that's actually where he learned about Kali, no? Because one of the Filipinos there was actually one of the senior students of Guru Dan, who was in the Air Force. So Doug at that time was part of the Taekwondo team. And then he learned from his friend, Joe Bautista, who's from California, actually, and he was one of the top. He was one of the senior students of Dan, and that's where he told my brother about Kali. And like I said, to ask us in the Philippines, we don't know the word Kali.
Kali, yeah. It's funny actually, yung mga year na yon, talagang ang martial arts. Taekwondo talaga ang nag-boom that time. Kasi taekwondo rin ako noon. Nagsimula ako taekwondo. Hanggang makaharap ako ng Thai boxer, nakakasipa ako. Kaso pag tinamaan na yung legs ko, wala na.
Yeah. No, and that's the way we were taught actually, no? So we were taught the nuances of, not so much the nuances, but it's like, because everybody overlooked Filipino martial arts, di ba? So let's say Yao Yan was not, and I always tell people, Yao Yan was more of the Filipino martial arts of the poor, no? Correct. Because our gym was sa Quiapo pa yan eh. No?
Yeah.
Of the market, no? So, yun, nakakatakot nga, minsan sa recto pa. To get there, recto, and uwi ako ng gabi, nakakatakot pa. but master, so I was learning under the Grandmaster Napi always says, he goes, he used to talk to me all the time because wag ka muna mo, mag-training ka muna. I was, Master, uwi pa akong Paranaque, malayo eh. Because sinasabi ko sa'yo, hindi ka mamamatay ngayong gabi. Hindi mo pa panat.
Saka sa Paranaque, by the way. Saka sa Paranaque. Sun Valley.
Yeah, so that's Bikutan area.
Ako sa Moonwalk.
Moonwalk. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, by Merville and whatnot. Yo.
Yeah.
Ang ano ko alam doon, dati kasi hindi ko talaga alam na may Filipino martial arts. Kung Fu ko kasi Jackie Chan and whatnot. Yun ang hinahanap ko sa Quiapo sa yung nilalakadon ko doon, hindi ko nakikita ko Filipino, Yao Yan. Ano yan? Hindi naman Chinese Kung Fu yan eh. So lockdown. Dinadaanan ko rin yung kay Remy Presas na gym. Sabi ko, nakakatakot naman to. Akit ako ng stairs. Puta, baka mag-gulfe ako sa taas, hindi na ako makabalik. So, skip din yun, di ba? So, sayang but for you, tama yung sinasabi mo, mahirap nga sa Quiapo, lalo na kung hindi ka sanay.
Because for me, it's nothing against Taekwondo or Karate, but I always trusted my uncle's
advice.
I always saw him fight. He was really good, no? So I always trusted his choices in martial arts. So when he told me Yan was really good, that's when I went there. So, it's funny, I had Muay Thai background already. And the funny thing is the first time I went there, I went upstairs. I started inquiring. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with that really big beehive bag that they have, no?
Yeah, no?
Palagi inaano yan, Yvonne. He always talks about that. It's like a 300-pound. This looks like a pillar. It's made of like really hard wood. It's very similar to like the heavy bag that Rocky Marciano has. It's like if you can move that means you can hit well.
Yeah,
it's like 300 pounds, and this thing has like a density of like corrugated steel, like what I mean, like adamantium and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you do with that? Use it as a punching bag or no?
You just kick it, yeah.
Kick it.
Yeah. So so what it is, it's a huge bag. It looks like a beehive, pero ano yan, it's wrapped around with rope that has knots all over it, no? And then he put rugby all over it para medyo hindi masyadong masakit, matigas. And the first thing they asked me, he goes, ano background mo? I goes, like, I know a little bit of Muay Thai. He goes, you know Muay Thai? He goes, so Muay Thai wasn't even popular in the Philippines, no?
Yeah.
He goes, sige. He goes, sige nga, show us nga, sumipa ka. Me thinking that I'm not even...
Wag mo sabihin, sinipa mo ng todo yun.
Sinipa ko talaga ng todo.
Oh my God.
And how was that? How was
sakit nun?
I almost peed in my pants.
It's
sakit na kunyari pa ako na okay na ako.
But that's how you cause desiccation on your bones. So you cause like the air pockets to decrease, and your different parts become calcium fortified.
Yeah,
so
but not for the first time.
No.
But not the first time.
Yeah. Well, actually, so it wasn't. The thing is that when I was in Cebu, my uncle used to teach me. He used to grab a bottle and he used to temper my shin, no? By tapping it, or even kahit naka-RD stick, he would temper it. So my shin was okay, but still, I just wasn't ready for that kind of bag na pagsipa na. No, I had to look for my testicles to see. Of course, I didn't go back for a month. I'm going to have to kick that thing again. So eventually, I went back. So I loved. And since then, I was hooked on anything Filipino. Then.
Yeah, I actually want to dig in a lot more. We kind of dug into right into the FMA part, but which I want to dig in a little bit more to that. But before that,
I like to hear his sufferings. He was kicking all those.
But before that, kasi where does the Filipino Boys to Men or Filipino Menudo in here? Then I don't even know what that was. Was that like Philippine Got Talent? Was that The Voice? Ano ba yun? It was like a boy band group that you had going on. Ano yun?
So at that time when I graduated college in Manila Doctors, after I finished college, I tried doing commercials, TV commercials.
Yeah.
And the money was good. It was great. And then all of a sudden, so I started doing a little bit of modeling and stuff like that. So I had a little portfolio, where you have your pictures because you're supposed to have that when you model.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine said, hey, I know this guy Boy Abunda. He goes, he's looking to put are you interested in joining showbiz? He goes, and then I go, showbiz. He goes, gusto mo ba mag-artista? He goes, I'm like, He goes, malaking kita ba yan? He goes, yeah, they make a lot of money. But he goes, sandali, mukha kasing, hindi ka papasa na artista. He goes, bakit? Mukha kang pang-rape lang eh. What do you mean? Pang-rape sing ka lang eh. No, I'm just kidding. No, but at that time he said, yeah, no, he goes, I know this guy Boy Abunda. I don't know if he wanted to he's looking for new talent. Yeah. I go, sure, I'll try it out. No, but he goes, I didn't want to do I couldn't act for save my life, no. So I go, I'll try to sing. I was part of the choir. Sige, we'll try that one along. And that's when I met I was introduced to Boy, and then he just, he goes, yeah, let's see what you can do. And I just sang in front of him, and then he said, I was looking to put a boy band together. I was wondering if you were interested. I go, sige, I'll try it. I'll try it.
What's the boy band's name?
Teka lang, tingnan. You guys want to see a video? Is it okay I show a video? I got the YouTube of it. Teka lang.
Show it.
Let's show it a little bit. Let me share it. Teka lang, share screen. Teka lang. Here you go. We're gonna
technical difficulties tayo dito.
No, I had it on save. Yan.
Gago rin kayong dalawa, pinapahiya nyo.
Hold on. Ano to? 80s?
Yeah, that
early 90s yata.
Yeah.
Pwede nga.
Yeah, a little bit clearer. Yeah. Teka lang, meron pa yan isa dito. May isa pa. Naka-save to eh. Yan. Tingnan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks good though, man. It looks good.
Three blind mice.
Yeah, there it is. All right, let me stop that.
Mga bulag ba yun?
What was that? 80s?
Tatlong itlog yan.
Yeah. So what was? I didn't even see what the boy band name was. What were you guys called?
It was Boy's Voice.
Boy's Voice.
Voice, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't last. It was only like I think a year and a half. Yeah, we it didn't last long because it was towards 94 yata to 96, and that's when we were regulars now of GMA Super Show and Eat Bulaga every week, no. And just when we were about to peak, one of our songs made it top 10. That's when my mom passed away, so I just decided to leave the group right away. So the group didn't last long, but.
Oh
yeah, it was fun. It was fun being in show business. Nice to
be able to kind of put that on the life experiences and things that
exactly. But
June, asa na yung porn?
Vicks. Hey, Vicks. The Vicks. Now, actually, Vicks came about as the safe word when what's his face, Francis. When we had Francis interview.
Kasi baka kung saan tayo mapunta.
Yeah, kung saan mapunta. So, slow it down and yeah. But,
curious ako kasi may nag-DM na sa akin.
Yeah.
Kayong dalawang kapatid mo, paano nyo na Transformers Constructicons yung mga estilo na yun? Kasi siya, PTK, ikaw, nanggaling, yaw yan. Yeah. Muay Thai, tsaka Kalis. Paano naging Transformers, Voltes 5, Bolt in yung yung paano
hindi
naging
yun ang tanong eh. Ang tanong dyan, pag nagkita sila, paano ang sparring? Yun ang gusto ko makita.
Wait, there's a few questions to that. Si Jason naman, ano niya? Saan siya nag-gravitate?
So Jason actually when I was here, he started Jason was a Kyokushin guy here in Rochester. No. And then when I came to Rochester, I started showing him Yao Yan. Then that's when he started to switch to Yao Yan. So he was and then also Kali Eskrima nga because of Doug. But the funny story is that when I was training actually when I went to the Philippines, actually, Doug was already a diehard Pikiti Tertia guy.
Oh.
Because of sila Omar Hakim, Tom Bizio, he trained Bill McGrath. He trained under these guys. So diehard Pikiti Tertia siya. And then he used to say, he goes, RJ, he goes, just if you can find, I go, I'm not, he goes, I'm just going to study Pikiti Tertia all the way. So diehard siya. Yeah. And the funny thing, I used to hear the name of Leo Guy. He used to talk about Leo Guy. And then that one time I mentioned it to my instructor, si June Pueblos. I go, yeah. And June was like, oh, that's my uncle. He goes, He goes, yeah, he's married, he's married to my aunt, his mom's sister, no?
Yeah.
So at that time, we were standing there we were training in Luneta, and Jun walks up to us. He goes, RJ, he goes, what? He goes, you guys wanted to meet Leo Guy? And he goes, yeah. So he's right there.
Oh.
He was in Luneta. So he was hiding in the background, just watching Tatang. And I was like, wait, it's Leo Guy. He goes, yeah, come here, I'll introduce you. So he's like, Tito, these are my students. He goes, they've been wanting to learn from you before, because at that time, my favorite thing about Eskrima at that time, I kind of like to lean towards the bladed side of the FMA, no? Yeah. And that's why I gravitated towards Illustrissimo, because of their bladed background.
Concept, yep.
And then from that, at that time, speaking to my brother, Guy was the knife expert.
Yep.
So at that time, Tuhon just transferred back to the Philippines. So kami nila Sixto, we became the first students of Gahe when he went back. So there was 5 of us, and we were his original students when he moved back to the Philippines. So since then, I started training with Pikiti Tertia then. And it's funny because I told him, I go, Doc, he goes, yeah, guess what I'm training with? He goes, what? He goes, who? Leo Guy. He goes, alang, napamura siya. He goes, I've been wanting to meet this guy before, and here he goes, just falls on your lap. He goes, well, because he didn't learn under Guy, So he goes, walang hiya. He goes, uwi ako dyan.
You went direct. Nakaano ka?
I goes, walang hiya ka. He goes, he goes, tagal-tagal na nang hinahanap si Guy. Sabay, I ended up training under the direct source.
Yeah, yep.
So that was the time when I was training between Illustrissimo and Pikiti Tertia at that time.
What years were these? Like 80s, 90s?
That was early 90s.
90s.
Yeah.
Dang.
Pretty much from the time I went to back to the Philippines, tuloy-tuloy na yan for years. And that's where the similarity of Dog and I is, because we pretty much were Pikiti Tertia as well.
Oh,
so you know Sixto pretty well then. Do you know Coach Narzo too?
Narzo, actually, Coach Narzo, at that time, baguhan pa yata siya, mas nauna pa yata kami. I'm not sure, no? I don't remember meeting him in
Luneta.
Luneta at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I know tuloy-tuloy na siya.
Yeah.
He became he pretty much became Tony Diego's right-hand man. But at that time, kasi after 96, wala na si, I just ended up training with Tony, As a matter of fact, the first time I met Tony Diego, he didn't want to train me. Because,
Artistahin kasi.
They were very secretive.
Kasi ano?
Secretive sila noon.
Oh.
I just didn't want to teach anyone, no? So until I had a conversation with him, and I told him, conversation, it led to like Because where do you come from? I go, I'm from Cebu. Cebu? He goes, he's from Cebu too. So he goes, Cebuano ka pala. He goes, kaya pala kumilos ka ng ganyan eh. Ganyan ka pala kumilos. I go, what do you mean? Eh, kasi tayong mga Bisaya kumakain ng mais. Hindi naman tayo kumakain ng kanin dun eh. Puro mais. And then since then, because of the Cebuano connection, that's when Tony started taking me and teaching me. He would only teach Baste and Sexto, but he wouldn't include me at that time until he found out I was Cebuano. Then he's like, no, you join us now.
Yeah.
With Narso, I know. Kasi pasulpot-sulpot yata. Tapos pasulpot-sulpot lang ako at that time, man.
So kaano katagal mo niligawan si Diego bago ka
It wasn't long. I mean, like I said, I would go with Sixto and Baste. I would watch them and until I think probably just a month, no? After a month and then watching.
Ibang manligaw tong si RJ. may dalang may mga dala. May mga alalay, di ba? Kumbaga sa panliligaw sa atin.
So mga iba't ibang estilo pala pagliligaw si Alex, magaling mambulong. Mga salita. Ikaw naman, marami kang mga alipores, mga kumpare.
Correct.
Binigyan ko pa ng manok pang sabong si Tony Diego kasi yung tito ko sa Cebu don't raise me.
May sulsul pa.
May sulsul pa.
May sulsul ka pa.
Mahal na mahal niya yung manok na binigay ko sa kanya. He goes, saan ba galing yung manok mo? Ano bang breed yan? I go, sa Mitra yan. Ramon Mitra na senator. Breed. He goes, ang galing nun. He goes, I don't know. And I never heard what happened next. Wala naman. I used to raise sabong chickens kasi in Cebu.
I see.
Apoy, alam mo matatag na itong episode nito. Mapipita tayo sa YouTube.
Hindi, wala naman. Tagalog naman eh. Meron namang sabong sa bet sa Hindi, but that's good, am I right? Kasi para sa mga viewers natin sa Pilipinas, kung maghahanap kayo ng mga old style, mga old instructors, kadalasan talaga kasi nililigawan. You have to court to kailangan gumaan ang loob sa iyo para makuha ka. That's back then. Hindi ka basta-basta.
Basta i-accept ng mga maestro minsan eh. Kasi
yung sinabi ni Alex, like, I've heard that. May nabi sila ng tanda sa Hagono. Yung kong pinuturuan, ba't ko tuturuan ikaw, alaga ka lang ni Ruben.
Yeah.
That's how they are. Like, that's how old guys are sometimes.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. But they kind of like to teach only family. So
right.
And here I was coming from nowhere, and all of a sudden I show up. And the funny thing, it was so hard for me because I had to hide from everybody. That I was taking Yaoyan, I was studying Pikiti Tertian, I was studying Ilustrisimo all at the same time.
Yeah.
Those are three big styles,
a little bit of flamenco,
Those are three big styles. It's not like, hindi pipitsugin ng mga estilo yung mga yun.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, and then I ended up also, now my uncle also from Cebu, I visited him. He became very close and one of the seniors naman of Kakoy.
Wow.
So he started showing me Doce Pares, and I'm like, it's funny because I studied, and I met, and the funny thing is that when I went to Cebu with Doug, the first time we went there with my uncle, and then as it turns out, because my grandfather in Cebu was the vice president of Pepsi Philippines, which was in Cebu, and Kakoy was his head of security.
Oh,
so that's why when my aunt says, I know because if you like Arnis, I know Kakoy Cañete, I'm like, I know who he is. And that's when he introduced us to us, and that's when I found out who Kakoy really was. So I'm like, wow. I'm like,
dang.
From one national treasure to another, from Tatang to Kakoy, and so I sought out all the grandmasters, and I've been lucky in that sense, that I was able to learn directly from the source of these
ang tanong ko is, how were you able to get away with cross training that way? That was in the time of like, mahirap pa.
Hindi ka pwede palipat-lipat.
So tamo, hindi lang magaling magligaw, magaling magtago pa. SPA ito eh.
Okay, we'll skip that question kasi na-mix tayo.
The only one who knew I was cross training was Gahe, because of course he knew. I met him in Luneta, so that's why he knew I was training under Tony Diego. But Tony never found out that I was training under Leo Tuan Gahe. Yeah. So yeah, and it was so much fun because I would always ask each and every one of them. I'm like,
man,
Tuan, he goes, what do you think about Tatang system? How would you fight him?
So you get the inside track of everything.
So may tanong naman ako kay, same thing, I would ask naman, kako ikaw, because nung Grandmaster, how would you fight this system ba? And ganyan.
Konti.
I would try to break.
Tatanong ko lang kasi natutuwa rin Lameko, because that was like the transitionary and formulary period when Edgar was getting tips from Mang Tony about the formulation of the Laban Laro drills. So you saw it when it was being created, or did you come after?
After na, because I never met Edgar. Edgar was already in the US when I learned about him. So yeah, so when I went back already, whatever, so most of what I'm learning already learned was what you see with although I'm not even close to what he knows, was what Arnold does now. So whatever the move, that's when I see Arnold move, I'm good. That's exactly the way Tony used to train me as well. But let's not make him. I'm not even as close as good as or as knowledgeable as Arnold in terms of what he does with Illustrissimo. So I pretty much scratched the surface of everything, because what I tried to do, I didn't have much time, because like I said, I did Yaoyan, I did Lameco, I just wanted to find out the holistic or pretty much what your system is all about. So with Kali Illustrissimo, you're bladed and you're mostly medium, right? Medium range. With Doce Pares and Pikiti Tercia, which is very similar, inside fighter sila. Talaga. The only thing I missed out on, which I wanted to learn, and at that time, I did not know about Balintawak yet. I actually ended up learning a little bit about Balintawak from Yaoyan. Because he knew a little bit of Balintawak and he knew also a little bit of Cincoteros. So he taught me a little bit, because when I went back to Yaoyan, I asked my grandmaster again, same thing, no? I go, Master Nap, because do you know anything about Kali Eskrima? He goes, I studied that when I was younger. He goes, so I started showing him drills of what I learned watching from Dan Inosanto and all that stuff. And he goes, okay. He goes, the thing about that, he goes, and I kept insisting from him. I go, Master Nap, can you show me your weapons? Because I wanted weaponry. I wanted to fight. I didn't like sport there. I didn't want sport. I wanted street fighting. He goes, and Master Nap was like, alam mo, ikaw lang ang Yaoyan na gusto matuto ng weapons. He goes, ang karamihan sa mga Yaoyan fighters, matuto lang sumipa. Ayaw na hanggang doon na lang. I mean, they just want to fight in the ring, no?
Yeah.
So at that time, Master Nap and I started, he goes, since you are so interested in Arnis, he goes, let's mix it together. He goes, you and I will start it. He goes, I go, what do you mean? He goes, so he wanted to mix Yaoyan and Arnis, and we started calling it Sipaluan. So Sipa and Palo, no?
Yeah, Sipa Paluan. I was like, Sipaluan.
And that ended up being what it's called today, Ardigma. So yeah, so Master Nap went from ring fighting and he started going back to his roots of, again, street fighting. Now he started, except until later in his life, he became, of course, he got sick. But he started going back to street fighting because I was very interested in knife fighting. I was interested in stick fighting and not just kicking, no. And it was hard for me to compete with Yao Yan because of two factors. Because number one, I was a smoker. I used to smoke cigarettes, so you can't do Yao Yan smoke cigarettes at that time. Number two,
well, pag Pilipino ka pwede.
Pwede kaya nga magandang eskrima kasi may hawak ka habang
Tama.
But yeah, number two, when I was in show business, boy told me, he goes, RJ, if you ever get hurt, machambahan ka sa leg or anything like that, he goes, you might not be able to sing. He goes, you have to choose what you want to do. So that's why I didn't. And to me, in my opinion, fighting in the ring is more dangerous than fighting, alam mo yung Dog Brother style. So just
yes.
Because if you're out of shape and you fight in the ring, it's just
you get killed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean,
no.
I didn't mind getting welts.
RJ, you don't need to tell me I was trained by Freddie. I've seen someone die in the ring.
Yeah, and here's the thing, I hated more than getting hit. If I get welts, if I get cut, what I hated more is trying to catch my own breath. Yeah, you're dying because you can't. You're dying because you can't fight anymore. I mean, he and Master Nap, he keeps teasing me. He goes, walang iya ka after first round. Yung kamay mo parang pansit.
Hands up.
Kasi hindi na ako makahinga eh. So that was my problem. So that's the thing. I mean, I just wanted to learn the basic concept of each and every martial arts. I also wanted to dabble into Ben Lema.
Yes.
Something scientific. I wanted to learn from him. And again, because there wasn't much of balintawak at that time in Manila, I didn't know who to go to until I came to the US now. So after researching and till today, I hope that someday I get to still meet, and I've been dying to learn from him, or at least just to meet him, is Jun, your
GM Bobby
Tabuada.
Yeah.
I mean, we're friends we're Facebook friends.
You haven't met him yet?
No, I haven't met him yet. I've been dying to meet him. And again, it's one of those things. I just friend request.
Sayang, merong kaming event, merong camp ngayong sa November 2nd. Actually,
GM Bobby's World Camp.
World Camp. Wow.
Ang isang guest din pala doon is Coach Narzo is here in the US. He's touring. So
I know Jason messaged me. This was a few years back, probably like 10 years ago. He goes, yeah, hey, I finally met GM Bobby, from there. So I didn't realize you guys haven't, run into each other given the community, but at the same time, I haven't ran into Daniel Santo yet as well too, given that guy's all over the place. Every time he ends up here somewhere nearby Florida, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go, but I haven't to walk event.
June, when you stop by here next time, we'll go to the academy, bro.
We went to yes, we need to put that on the map too.
Try to meet as much national treasures as you can before.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. That was one that I was like, man, I keep missing him.
Can I some comments here? Sabi ni Baste, singer si RJ, dapat sing-alongan, hindi sipaluan.
Yeah. Actually, you want to go through the post there, the comments, JV?
Yeah, go ahead, June. Tagalog eh. Ikaw magbabasa.
Sabi ni Lance, anong style? What style is the Arnis of Sipaluan based on?
Yeah. It was basic. There really wasn't, there really wasn't any mother art. It's just what he learned You know, kumbaga what he put together. Again, he mixed cinco teros with a little bit of balintawak. And actually, he also had another senior instructor that he had trained, and his name was I forgot.
Yeah.
Iliosis. You know, Iliosis was another guy too. And actually, modern arnis. I know there was a story where Master Nap told me that there is another modern arnis that isn't Remy Presas. It was from Pedro Dormal.
Oh.
So but anyways, the story is there's also a different kind of modern arnis. But again, there really wasn't any certain flavor as far as Yaoyan was going. And again, the way he did it was pretty much basics. Really, it's 1 and 2, and then use your elbows, knees, and legs.
What was Escrito what you learned from GM Kakoy?
I didn't learn Escrito. I didn't get that far. I did not get that far. Yeah. Because because of my Yaoyan background, I was scared to grapple anywhere. You know, as soon as I was able to. So the way I did things is that I didn't spend a whole lot of time inside. I did not like fighting from the inside. And again, and my way of thinking is that every time I learned. The reason I did that is because when I learned martial arts, I knew I was going to come back to the US. So my way of thinking is like, I do not want to stay inside because I do not want to fight. I do not want to, I always pictured myself fighting Americans, big guys. So the tendencies are, if I was inside, I do not want to stay there. Now, Escrito, although I know Escrito was good, I've seen a lot of good movements with Escrito. But at that time, I was one of the very first ones to ever watch UFC. Actually, a few days after UFC came out, my best friend sent me a tape of the first UFC. He goes, RJ, you got to watch this one.
Because I remember when it was released in the Philippines, it was on network television. It was channel 13, and typically
but it was late now.
Yeah, but it was late. But it was late. They had like a 3 or 4 month delay window.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then so what we some people would do is people that were from overseas kukuha ng bala ng VHS of Betamax that was like recorded, and then we'll watch that.
Yeah,
that's what they would do. Yeah.
So the funny thing about that, I got the first UFC tape a week after because my friend was in the U.S. Navy, and he was there. He says, RJ, take this tape, watch it. So I watched it, and the first thing I did was run to Master Nap from Yaoyan. I go, Master Nap, he goes, you should come here to the house and watch this tape with me. He goes, what is it? He goes, it's a tournament. It's a tournament of different disciplines fighting each other. He goes, ganun ba? He goes, may grappler ba dyan? He goes, yeah. Because mananalo yan.
Oh. Called it.
He goes,
called it.
Yeah. He called it the first time. He goes, pag may grappler dyan, may mananalo. He goes, why? He goes, so he watched it, and after everything watching it, he goes, I told you the grappler would win. I go, how'd you know that? He goes, because turns out Master Nap was a judoka in his earlier years. He says, the reason why, he goes, judo used to be big in the Philippines, and then Bruce Lee happened. When Bruce Lee became popular, everybody dropped judo, and all of a sudden it became striking now. Yeah. So people stopped training against
grapplers
or strikers. People stopped training against judo, and then the strikers, hindi na nila pinansin ang grapplers. So that's when the grapplers took advantage of it. But he also told me one thing. He goes, everything is cyclical. He goes, watch, the minute the strikers learn how to control themselves, not to get submitted in the ground, they will be number one again. And that's what happened.
That's what happened. Correct. That's what happened.
So that's what happened. And the first one I remember who did it was Maurice Smith. So correct. Maurice Smith was a kickboxer, and all he did was to learn not to be submitted in the ground.
Yeah, he revolutionized the sprawling brawl.
The sprawl.
Exactly. And I'm like, wow, I mean, not really knew his stuff because he was a judoka guy because he learned a lot of systems. And that's why, it was very interesting to learn these things. But again, back to Escrido, I learned a little bit of Escrido from my uncle, but it was something that I didn't want to get into because I just didn't, because of my Yaoyan background.
Yeah.
And Yaoyan is meant to be, and the way Master Nap explained it to me, Yaoyan is supposed to be, the concept of Yaoyan is like George Foreman versus Muhammad Ali. No? So he used to tell me, he goes, RJ, the problem, he goes, George Foreman in terms of kickboxing is Muay Thai. He always want to go forward, matira matibay, di ba? Let's see who's tougher.
Yep.
Let's see whose bones are stronger. He goes, the Yaoyan fighters, they don't live in the, back then, he goes, back then, my fighters don't live in the gym. They train 3 times a week, sometimes 2 hours, 1 hour. He goes, you cannot compete against Muay Thai that way. And these people, this is their livelihood. They live and sleep in the gym 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. He goes, and that's why when he formulated Yaoyan, it was meant to be hit and run. Just like when Ali fought Foreman. Hit and run. I'll pick my hits. I'll pick my fights, but I will not go toe-to-toe against Foreman because Muhammad Ali would have gotten eaten alive if he tried to go head-on with Foreman. So that's why, and that became my concept of thinking, is that I do not like to grapple because I was very skinny as a child. I was, and I didn't want to fight inside. I just wanted to get inside and out. And that's why Escrido for me was, and again, I kind of lean towards bladed weaponry. And of course, if you're more into blades, you don't stay inside, Kuko. If not, you're both dead.
Yeah.
I got to read a comment by our listeners. This is
okay.
Jay, I remember when we were training at my parents' house with GT one Sunday. Then we brought the TV down to the living room and showed GT UFC 1 for the first time. And then Ramon Jorge is like, the first UFC tape, it's a Squadron Shop, it's a Vero Mall, nabibili dati. Those were the days. Shout out to Ramon. I still got the first 4 VHS.
Yeah.
And then
Betamax.
yeah, well, not Betamax for me. And then the source of Betamax and VHS martial arts videos, Lance says, was that shop, Squadron Shop.
Squadron and Vero Mall.
Which is no longer around, right? It's gone.
Yeah, no
I think
more.
Alex Ko used to own that, right? Was it Alex Ko? But maybe
Yes.
Lance can, Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah, or maybe Yap. Yeah, maybe it's Yap. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, but the time who commented about watching in this battle, was that Sixto or Baste?
It was Baste.
Baste, yeah. Those are my mentors, the Hermanos brothers.
And natandaan ko noon first year college ako, magka-cut class. Diretso ako ng SM North kasi bago yung mall. Malamig saka
Papa-AC lang.
Yeah, Papa-AC back then when you would go to the movies, they don't kick you out. You can stay there all day.
That's right. That's right. Just gotta go sit through the credits.
Yeah.
Oh, and then so with all of those FMAs and backgrounds between sa inyong magkakapatid and everything, tell us about Marcaida Kali.
So Marcaida Kali, to be honest with you, it's more of Doug's stuff. No, it's more of what he put together.
Okay.
So and I tell people is that the students that have trained with him for years actually know more Marcaida Kali than I do. I go, you're just carrying my name. So default, nagiging Marcaida Kali ako. But it's mostly dog stuff, but it's not that far. It's not that different, no, because like I said, we've learned from the same instructors, no, and from Tuhon Gahe, another one of the other guys that I trained, and one of my favorite instructors as well is Guru Jun De Leon from Toronto, Canada, KDL.
Yeah, Cali de Leon. Yeah.
Yeah, I met Guru Jun through Doug actually because Guru Jun had family in Fort Lauderdale, and he went there, and Doug goes, "You better meet. You should meet him." I go, "Why?" I go, "Why?" He goes, "You just, you know," because I thought you were all Pikiti Tersha. Because why are you learning from? He goes, "Arch, you just gotta meet Guru Jun de Leon." He pretty much cleaned up everything I did. So again, because as you guys know, without me saying, is that when you fighting is not, it's not pretty, diba? You know, it's the art side of thing that makes what we do pretty. And Guru Jun cleaned up everything. It, you know, yeah, you just throw a one, yeah, you do a we take you do a this and that. He goes, clean it up. He goes, if you're gonna do it right. Look good at the same time doing it. So he broke me down, put me back to basics, and clean everything. Because, like I said, when I started learning, when I started learning from the different masters, I learned it in such a way that I told them, don't teach me how to teach your system because I don't want to teach it. I just want to learn the fighting aspect of your system. What is it that makes what you do? Another,
what is your essence of most?
Yeah, the funny thing is that when I learned to me everything was pretty much the same. No, a number one strike is a number one strike. A number two strike is a number two strike. What differentiates, in my opinion, the systems is how do you train it? Mm-hmm. Because the one is the one and two is two. When do you enter? When do you get out? So to me, it was a training. Again, hitting the tires I got from Doce Pares and Pikiti Tersha. Hitting tires with bladed stuff I learned from Tata. So to me, everything was how you train your system was more important to me than learning the system through and through, because I'll never learn the system through and through, especially, let's say, with, man, it's one of my favorite, but still this day, I still scratch my head still when I watch guys like Narso train.
Yep.
I'll never learn, and since Tatang didn't really teach that well, you had to observe in order to learn. I'll never learn Illustrissimo the way they did because it's just there was just too much to learn. I didn't have Tatang to.
Yeah, a lot of
every day.
A lot of material. I wanted to go to sa clean it up. What, okay. Yung sa clean it up, what was it that
I rushed things.
No, yeah, I know, pero was it like the striking component or the strike point? If there were maybe one or two or maybe three major points na made a difference to sum up what you think was to make it cleaned up, to clean up your movement. I'm curious about that. Kung anong ano, or is it just repetitions?
So number one is the form.
Yeah.
He goes, number one, he said, if you're gonna do this, that's fine, but keep body straight. Tayong guwapo.
Yep.
Keep straight. Stand straight. When you're doing your retake, do it slowly. Don't rush things, because when you rush things, when your adrenaline kicks in, you're in a rush to do things, diba? Because you want to end it right away. Just don't be in a rush. Clean it up. If you do your redondo, make sure you do it slowly. I don't care if you do it Illustrissimo style or the Pikiti Tersha, but clean it up. He goes, don't be, because like I said, to me, it was like, no, let's fight. I want to learn how to fight. To him, he was like, no. Don't be in a rush to clean your system up. Look at yourself in the mirror and all that stuff. That's what I didn't do that much, just look at myself in the mirror, just like boxers would do in shadow boxing in front of the mirror. So Guru Jun was like, do it, look good doing it. If you're representing the Filipino martial arts, make it look nice.
Yes.
I agree with that.
I agree with that too. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. You get rushed through the whole techniques, and you forget you could still execute the same technique with a nice form and presentation and make it look good. Jim Bobby would always say, you know what? Yeah, make it look good,
Yeah.
Make your partner look good, make yourself look good, and everything too.
I mean, but even when you look at,
that's what it was. I was sloppy.
Yeah.
And he cleaned it up. So don't rush.
But even when you look at the old timers back in the day, they dress up to the nines. Like their slacks is like so starched they can stand by itself. They're wearing floor champ shoes. Apomada pa, tanchotik, you know what I'm saying? And then they put the brute cologne, like a helpful, you know what I mean? Like brute cologne everywhere.
Oh, magiging
Right.
bump muna tayo ngayon. You know, gonna go in my next training classes again.
You know, hindi, saka di ba, Simon, natutunan mo ba ang white rules sa Thai boxing, or straight kang just fighting?
Just fight.
Teka lang,
Kasi same thing sa Thai boxing, merong mga white crew that you always want to look good when you present it.
Yes.
Then you get to the brutal part when the ring or when the bell rings, then the brutality comes out.
Yeah, we didn't do the dancing because it was that part, because again, our training in Muay Thai was with a medical student, so it was very
medical
informal.
student. Yeah,
it was a very informal. He wasn't a crew or anything. He was just he used to fight in Thailand, and again, we would just get together, parang. And I was only 12 years old or 10 pa nga eh.
Yeah,
when I started that. So it wasn't till I was 14 around 14 that I started Yaoyan.
Yeah.
So it was 2 years after that. And so again, most of my Muay Thai training was really bagging. That's all it was. Just throwing the roundhouse properly, throwing it 100 times and all that stuff. Pero wala masyadong technique kasi at that time wala namang sparring din sa Muay Thai eh.
Yeah.
Correct.
Teka lang, RJ, may heckler ka ba? Kasi may nagsabi dito, huwag ka maniwala dyan. May kilala ka bang Doug Marcaida dyan? Nag-comment.
Oo nga, ano ata to eh, stalker.
Nag-heckler sa'yo eh.
Tanong ko lang, RJ, kasi minumura mo kami kanina, right?
Huh?
Pag natapos na kayo ng ensayo, bago, ano kinakain nyo ng paboritong pagkain? Sayo mo, may pandesal, mga turo-turo. Where'd you go, man? What's your favorite FMA food, man?
Ay, di ko alam eh. Tapsilog kasi, tapsilog na ako eh.
Breakfast na lang, tapos training na all day. Yun na.
Kaya ka ba angry dahil vegetarian ba asawa mo?
Ha?
Vegetarian ba asawa mo?
Hindi naman. Hindi lang masyado hindi lang masyadong nagkakarne. Yeah. Once in a while she'll eat naman, pero hindi naman masyadong .
So tapsilog ka, yun ang pre and post workout meal mo.
Well, tapsilog. I just miss Filipino food.
Filipino food, yeah.
Wala ba dyan?
Meron din, tamad lang ako. Mahirap ba sa mga anak ko kasi hindi kumakain. So alam mo naman pag tayo kumain, parang mas masarap kumain pag may kalaban kayo kumakain.
Kasi tisoy yung mga anak mo. It makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And, yeah. But they love rice, ha?
Yeah.
Rice eaters din yung mga yan.
Panoorin mo yung episode namin kay Ramon, the chef Ramon. Magugutom ka. Nagluto kami ng ng adobo. Iba-ibang adobo.
Last week's episode.
Marami nagutom sa episode na yun.
Ang mahirap nung umuwi ako the last time I went 2006 or even before that. Kasi it wasn't until prior to 2006, almost every year ako umuwi. Doon na sumikat yung sisig. And all that stuff. Problema lang, that was the time nagka-gout.
Na-ban. Hindi na pwede.
So, ang hirap kumain ng sisig, but sisig was my favorite.
Tanong ko lang, RJ, when was the last time nakakain ka ng lanzones?
I don't remember anymore, to be honest with you. Probably prior to 2006. Damn. Siguro.
Yeah.
Wala, tagal na.
Sabi ng utol mo, kumanta ka daw.
Alam mo, ingit lang kasi yan kasi ako paborito na nanay namin eh. Saka huwag mong sabihin sa kanya, adopted lang siya.
Kala ko makakapagtago tong episode sa kapatid mo, hindi pala eh.
hindi yan eh. Lumipat na tayo sa radar kahapon pa.
Huwag ka magpapaniwala dyan. Bolero yan. Nakapulang ng mga puti yan eh. Kaya nga may Virgin Fire yan eh.
Ay, nako. Teka lang, pag kayong magkakapatid, you guys ever like get into a tournament together, the three of you into something?
You ever sparred?
Or kayong tatlong magkakapatid got into it with some other people na at least pwede ma-share?
Teka muna, let me ask, 3 boys kayo? Walang sister?
No, we have, there's 4, well, there's actually, hindi ko na mabilang eh.
It's like there's 3, 4, 5,
6, 7.
No, because my dad remarried twice.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So yeah, we have half sisters and brothers, but they're family, they are brothers. They're not half, they're full. But with my mom, there's 4 boys and 1 girl.
Mm.
So there's another brother between Doug and I, but he wasn't much into martial arts. He's the shooter.
Fighter pa rin eh.
Fighter pa rin. Kahit anong gawin mo. Mas delikado yun. Long range.
Yeah, he's a good shooter. He competes here at the national, steel challenge here.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, he travels every year.
Gets around too.
Yeah. So ayan, makasama yata niya sila JJ Rakasa.
Wow.
Yeah. So
mali ata ang na-interview namin ngayong gabi ah. Joke lang.
Okay lang. Hindi nasaktan na ako, okay na.
Shooter din, yeah, we also shoot, me and June. Actually, si June sharpshooter yan.
Chamba lang yan. Played a lot of Duck Hunt in the back in the day with the Nintendo Duck Hunt.
Hindi, kailangan yan. No, actually, so the funny thing is that of course we have Marcaida, Kali, Tikiti, Tertia, and all that stuff. But let's face it, when we tell people these days, kung gusto mo talaga ng self-defense, bumili ka ng baril.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the truth of the way things are these days.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that noon kasi sabi ng hindi naman I didn't want to have a gun, didn't want to own a gun. My wife never wanted to have a gun until the thing in the movie theater happened. In Colorado, remember where?
Yeah, the Colorado one.
Yeah.
Shooter who was shooting everybody.
That douchebag was my classmate.
He was.
Oh, really? Holy cow!
Damn.
Yeah. My last class in UC Riverside was his first.
Wow.
Oh.
I was finishing an elective. That was my last class ever in college, and then he was just coming in. He was a freshman. We had the same alma mater.
You're a bad influence.
Yeah.
You're a bad influence.
It's your fault.
You're talking about the Joker guy. He's the Joker guy in the Colorado dressed up as the Joker.
Yeah. And then so my wife said, like, my wife was like, because she never wanted a gun. She goes, and then she asked me, goes, do you think you'd have gotten near that guy with the theater? I'm like, hell no. The guy was shooting everything that he could see.
Yeah.
I could not go near him I couldn't even get 20 feet within him. He had a shotgun and everything else. And then we had a child. When my first son was born, she goes, go get the permit.
Different perspective, eh? Yeah. Well, now you've got corto, medio, largo, and long distance largo.
Long distance.
Covered. You got all the ranges covered.
Tanong ng mga madlang, Richard, RJ, anong EDC mo? Kung hindi paltek, anong EDC blade mo? You know what I mean?
A blade?
Yeah.
Yung mumurahil. I kid you not. The last time I bought 5 cheap ones from Walmart.
Yan din ang dahilan ko kasi if you're gonna use it, hindi ka mahihinayang.
If I lose it, no, I kid you not. Mahal eh.
You
said 5 from Walmart? Yeah. Bakit 5? One.
No, kasi mawawala yun. Nawala yan. Wala naman ulit sa
Hindi, isa sa baywang, isa sa bahay, isa sa kotse.
Naman ako ganun kapraning.
But
one point in my life, ganun ako praning.
Daming ang praning dito. Daming praning dito sa Amerika, mga tactical.
Yeah. No, and you were, and believe it, well, that's the thing, it's just that marami na, whether we admit it or not, some of us were trained that way. By some of our grandmasters too.
Yeah.
And I got away from that. We're not trying to, the days of being Cobra Kai is not something in my mind anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that actually I just started coming back in the last year because I stopped training FMA actually with other people for the last 10 years because I just didn't and June knows this, is that even when I met June in Fort Lauderdale, I wasn't training anymore. Hanggang sa bahay lang ako lang mag-isa.
Yeah, but I knew you could move, and I was like, bakit hindi nagtuturo, hindi walang, regular training?
I know why. Singer and dancer eh. Ikaw naman, Jun eh.
No, the dancing was true,
Sa katotohanan lang, RJ, we reached out to Ryu Lim as well. So tatanong ko sa yun kasi inisip natin nung lumalaki tayo, nung tayo ng mga pelikula ni FPJ, yung ang panday, mali-mali yung yung mga panday na ginagawa dun sa What's your personal experience about that? Yung paggawa ng, ng sandata, paggawa ng kutsilyo?
Wala akong alam. Wala akong alam kung paano gumawa ng kutsilyo. Bumibili lang ako. That's the truth. I just, like I said, to me, it was just trying to learn how to use it. No, how I was just, again, because of Kali's illustration, I was just using different stuff, I really didn't learn how to make it. Oh. And as a matter of fact, me, as far as Panday, it wasn't until Doug got into Forge and Fire that I started really, learning a little bit about it, but not enough to make one myself. I didn't have time. I have 4 kids. do
you teach your Tisoy kids, FMA?
One of them does. One of them. He's very interested.
That's good. That's good.
The second one is, he loves it. He loves. Nakakatakot. Hinahanap mga kutsilyo ko. And he's only what? He's only 7.
Yeah.
The eldest is more of the artsy ones, piano lessons and drawing and all that stuff. The second one is more the sporty one. So yung bunso, hindi ko pa alam. 1-year-old pa kasi yun.
So tanong ko sa'yo, hindi ko alam kung pwede mo sagutin, but when you do the cuts on the show, nagpa-practice ka muna ba noon or in prompt na, okay, hatiin mo yan sa kalahati?
So the interesting part, it's not that easy, what they do. Yes, may practice before that, but the hard stuff is the blade you use to practice is something that one of the judges created to practice. To practice. So I never actually hold the contestant's blade until I'm ready.
Correct.
So ang hirap nun. So the minute you grab the blade of the contestant, iba ang weight, iba ang balance,
yes.
Iba lahat. So nakakatuwa, whatever you're practicing, itapon mo na yan kasi pagdampot mo ng blade.
Correct, kasi depende sa weight, yeah.
Adjustment on the spot talaga.
So nung sabi mo kasi medyo wala kang alam sa pag-forge ng di ba? Mm-hmm. So natuto ka while you're doing it, yung weight distribution.
Exactly.
Mapi-feel mo talaga kung nasa harap, nasa gitna, or nasa handle, yeah. So you learn on the spot,
Yeah, you start swinging it on the spot to see like, paano kaya to? You're just trying to see how do I slice it this way? And the hard part is that Doug makes it look easy, but it's actually, especially when it comes to the silicone.
Yeah.
The dummy.
Yeah.
Because actually it's supposed to emulate the human body, but it's not. If you actually start touching it, parang rubber eh.
Rubber, yeah.
Rubber. So if your blade is not sharp, tapos hindi pa magbigat.
Tatalbog, di ba?
Yeah, it bounces off. And then if you swing it in such a way that you swing it like a baseball bat, it won't work. You have to slice talaga. Diba? Isa-slice mo talaga. And that's where I started to appreciate the blade of the katana because it's the way it's sliced.
I actually watched that episode. That was a good episode.
Yeah. Puputol talaga yan eh.
Puputol talaga.
Yeah, maganda talaga ang design ng katana. So it's very different. And then the same thing. The funniest thing is that the last, I think, maybe 4 episodes, the last 4 episodes I didn't know about that. Ang balat na one day asked me to cut the goat.
Yeah.
The goat. Ang hirap. When I tried to, and again, paghiwa ko ng ganun, it just didn't go very well at first, no? If the blade wasn't sharp and heavy, kasi kailangan may weight yan eh.
Is that live? I mean, are they recording when this is like, ano na? Is that like teka lang muna, hold, let me just do a test.
And so one take lang yan, Jun.
One take.
Dang.
Walang
so you have to be on proper form.
Kung namintis ka, pasensya na, that's it.
Yeah.
There's no take 2. So I didn't know pala, and then they told me afterwards, because did you know in the olden days they used the goat skin as a shield? Or
as a shield, correct.
Kasi yung balat saka yung buhok niyan, ang tigas eh.
Yeah.
So you had to make sure that the blade was sharp and it was heavy enough to penetrate.
So during the show, kung makakabili ka ng 2 blade, anong bibilin mo dun sa show?
Para sa'yo. The one I tested, as far as the one I tested.
Yeah, the one you tested, yeah.
There was one that's called the I think it was a Rumfaya. It was shaped that way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was more curved than a ginunting. Let's put it that way. That one cut like butter. Yeah. So when I sliced the pig, parang walang kahirap-hirap. And then the other one was a Viking sword. Because the Viking sword, ang bigat. Ang ganda ng bigat eh. Tsaka pagpalo ka ng galong, basag talaga lahat eh. So it had to, it really cut through.
Nasaan yung weight nung blade, nung bigat nung blade? Nasa harap? Yung Viking sword?
Yung sa Rumfaya, balance all the way.
Balance all the way, wow.
All the way. Maganda. Paghiwa mo na ganun because it was curved that way. So when you pull it down,
it has a nice
it'll cut through and through from the base all the way to the tip. Now the question, it was very sharp, but it was very thin. I don't know if it would last
in battle.
Yeah.
No. And the funniest thing, the first time they asked me to do it was funny because it was a Tai Chi sword. So, like, okay. The Tai Chi sword because you're the one that goes this way, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, sige, let's try a Tai Chi sword. When I got there, biglang inabot sa akin, bigat nito. I had to hold it with 2 hands. So again, and I'm not naturally strong. So I had to hold it. I'm like, of course, the Tai Chi it's flimsy. It's for Olympics, of course, for wushu, right?
Yeah.
But the real Tai Chi sword, of course, it had to be strong and heavy for battle. No, so it's just weird that watching kung fu movies, you get a certain, thought of the way things are supposed to be, but it's not. But yeah, it opened my eyes, and again, it's so different when you're holding a live blade because
live blade, yeah.
You don't know how it's going to react. Hindi mo talaga alam eh.
Yeah. Any accidents on the show?
Nakita ko sa clips mo na pag tama mo ng sword, it like didn't go through and actually bounced back and catch you back on the shoulder.
Some of them, yeah. No, I never got cut naman.
Yeah, I would expect that he didn't get cut.
Yeah, no, dasal talaga. No, before, and because Doug did it so many times, when it came to me, I'd had to, because we would get there in the morning, and then we would look at the blade, just look at it, and then I get the practice blade, and I would practice it on whatever it is they had me practice on, and then I go to the dressing room, and then I would just repeat. Like I would go through my movements. Like if I cut, it was very important to me. Like, I had to learn a lot of stuff. It's not like it was because when you're doing drills, let's say with illustration, what you're doing with training blades.
Training blades, correct.
you're not worried about getting cut and all that stuff. But when you're actually cutting the thing, like if you're cutting a pig and you don't know how the blade is going to react, I always had to like, okay, if I cut here, it goes through, where's my leg? My leg's here, I might cut my leg. So I had to step back first and then cut through and all that stuff and go through the motion, make sure I don't cut myself. Because like I said, each blade is very different that you have to take precaution talaga, and then the funny thing is not every pig is the same. Diba? So, and then sometimes when your adrenaline kicks in pa, you might miss pa your intended cut. And then again, it's just very different. There were so many different blades that were concept blades na. Lang, was this really a weapon? There was one blade that I had to cut. I think it's in a video that it had a claw and then a blade. So I was actually holding the blade this way with my hands open instead of gripping this way. It was like that. No? So there was a claw here and there was a blade here. So it was
Holy.
Nakakatakot too.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so brass na po na hindi mo masarado, pero...
Oh, hindi mo masarado. So I had to scratch the pig this way and then stab it that way while my hands were open. Huh? So the director goes, and there was an accident before that. Not me, but there was an accident before that. The director goes, RJ, what do you think about the blade? He goes, could you just handle it first and all that stuff? So I started looking like, sa loob ko patay ako dito. Ito na. I couldn't grip it. There's no way to grip it. But I had to bite my pride talaga. I'm like, kaya.
Yeah, typical yan ang ugali natin mga Pilipino. Kaya. Sige. Bahala na.
Bahala na si Batman.
Bahala si Batman. Yeah. Now I have to watch that. Hopefully mahanap ko yung video.
I don't know. But so far, naswertehan lang ako. Pero ang mahirap. Again, cutting the deer, everything. But what I did was nothing, I like to emphasize that nothing I did was special. Anyone can do it, But again, it was just an advantage to us as scrimadors that because we practice it.
We trained that
naturally for us. It came naturally for us because we are escrimadores, and that's why I'm very proud of the Filipino martial arts for preparing us that way.
Yeah.
Kasi kung hindi nga marunong, 'di ba? Kadalasan yung paa nasa harap, tataga ka.
Almost baseball ang magiging dating
Bad habits, 'di ba? Bad habits. Kasi
lalo kung walang training. Yeah.
Kaya nga minsan when people say mag-spar kayo ng mag-spar, go hindi pa. I've been asking, goes let's do a lot of nice sparring and go. Sometimes you have to be careful when you're doing because you pick up bad habits.
Correct.
Every time we did sparring with Dog Brothers, I've seen a lot of people use their helmets as a shield. Papasok na lang bigla para makipag-grapple sa'yo kahit pinalo mo ng 5 beses sa ulo. Kasi
that's something that we comment about, like especially you have like Laguna or Timog Tagalogan styles. A lot of the measure is lost when you're wearing a helmet. So because it gives you a bad habit of like not having proper distance management, because that adds like that much to your face, and it's the sense of like measuring in like millimeters to like miss the blade when you like turn like this is kind of like when Canelo Mayweather like turn, you miss that when you have one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you
get tagged.
Your target's not exactly there, and again that's why and it made sense that when I was with the our master Naps goes, if you're gonna wear padded stick, take out the headgear.
Correct.
Take out your headgear. Don't even wear hockey gloves. Don't wear gloves, period.
Yeah.
So you feel the pain. That way you just don't rush.
Yeah. You really got the skill to like get in. Imbis na, bahala na, sige.
Oh, and you will notice too, the ones who like to bomb rush in are the ones who have jiu-jitsu background.
Correct. Saka di ba, the early days of Dog Brothers, wala namang masyadong nag-shoot, nag-grapple. Alam ko merong mga takedown, but a few. Kasi they always think na kung live blade to, papasok ka ba talaga?
Yeah, and actually,
when nowadays, I see them more on a grappling, but give them a live blade, okay.
Oh, tanggalin mo ang handgear, hindi babamrush yan.
Hindi magbabamrush yan, yeah.
So, and I know and the Dog Brothers came before UFC.
Correct.
So grappling was not that popular then when I first started watching the Dog Brothers fight.
Yeah, so actually, tama. Kasi, like I said, we came at the same year nung nagpunta ka ng Amerika. So, yeah, I was doing Dog Brothers style already before even people know what Dog Brothers is. Before we were doing UFC already. That means I'm not just saying, but people come to me and goes, I this is my style. Let me fight you, and let's see who wins.
Yeah.
And then UFC comes around, and I'm like, we've been doing that already. So,
kailangan magbasa muna ako ng mga comment natin. Sandali. Oh, never mind. I can't read that. The rated R yun. Oh, Bix. Sorry.
Bix agad? The first comment, Bix agad?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Beep. Okay. RJ, umiibig na ba ang puso? Puso. Bakit ka ba ganyan? Bakit di ka magmahal? Memorize ko pa ang mga lyrics. Sabi ni Basta.
Ako, number 1 fan ko is Basta. Hindi ako tutulog sa bayan.
Julius, go through the rest of the comments.
Oh, and then sabi ni Ramon, according sa mga old Smith, the best plate for fighting must be forged by an FMA rin. Din kasi they know the weight and balance, etc. And then your brother said the unfortunate truth is we lack proper materials back home. The quality is lacking, but the skills are definitely there.
It is true. So actually, that was one of the biggest issues. Like when I was also looking into alam mo yung baby Armalite natin.
Yes.
Arm score.
Maganda sana ang concept. Ang problema, ang pangit ng bakal ng Pilipinas eh. Yung bakal natin our steel is not as good as the other steel, so like the Japanese have. So that was one thing also. It's not just the equipment, but the bakal actually, when I was talking to one of the master sergeants in the Philippine Marines, sabi niya, maganda sana ang concept ng M6 ng baby Armalite natin, pero wala tayong mapangit yung bakal natin. That's why even if we try to forge the blades ourselves, we don't have the natural steel. Yeah, nababali, like the Japanese do.
Yeah, technology goes back to the technology aspect of it. We've got the skills and capabilities of being able to blacksmith things, pero yung materials natin ang kind of kulang. Yeah. Yeah. So, what were we at? One of the things that I want to kind of touch on was basically, I guess it's kind of also towards the end, unless you guys kind of want to, dive into something else. But you were out of the scene for a little bit and just past just returning into the scene. Ano ang future direction mo ngayon? With your FMA, where we headed? Kasi, I've
your
always
singing career.
Wala na yun. Hanggang nyo na lang ako.
Hollywood, ano na ba ngayong future for you? Anong direction na? Actually, that's three-pronged.
Yeah. So I wanted to, so of course, because Doug is my brother and we wanted to promote it as a family, and just we up until lately, we finally have started, Doug and I have started to share the same thoughts about FMA. When we were young, it was all about, let's face it, there was a lot of, my sensei can beat your sensei. My guru's better than yours, diba?
Yeah. Yeah.
And when the internet came and I started seeing again the old Filipino crab mentality of that sense nga na, I got turned off with FMA. I'm like, what should I, Here's the thing. We learned FMA or martial arts to defend ourselves. Hopefully, that one day we might be able to defend ourselves in the street. And then I asked myself, wait a minute, how many times have I ever fought in the street? It's like the only time I really get hurt is when I'm actually training to not get hurt in the street. So I'm parang the irony of it all. Like, sandali lang, hindi na ako napapakaway. Hindi na. So, but now that we're older, we realize that, and I decided to come back because we shared, it's the same thought, like, who cares about those who want to put each other down anymore? Let's just, if the way things are now, the way the world is going, and I wanted to go back down to start teaching children from a younger age, and not just FMA, but just, I don't know, we are influencers in our own way, and if we can influence the new generation from aside from what's going on these days, why not? Having, and I realize that having children of my own, if nobody, like they say, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yep. So
if we can influence them in a good way, if we don't do it, someone else will. So that's why I decided, like, sige na nga, and sayang naman, what did I learn all of this for if I don't share it with some other people?
Yeah.
And again, so so we sat down with, so our concept now is like, let's raise gentlemen if we can. Let's go back to the drawing board and raise children the right way. And even people, even adults, let's not steer them. Let's steer them away from the pataasan ng ihi.
Yeah.
Let's just, and that's why I'm able to sit here with you guys again and share our experiences, is because this is awesome. I mean, we are able to say, hey, what's your experience? That, we're not trying to badmouth anyone or put anyone down. That's, and again, it's a Filipino pride in us that, not so much the pride, but, we are Filipinos, and let's try to share our culture to the world the best way we know how. And in our case, it's martial arts. But, let's not forget that, again, let's take the good habits of what we, as a Filipino, and then share it. You know? Because a lot of people don't know who we are yet as a culture.
I agree.
They don't know us as a culture, as an art. Yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, I tell them all the time, it's like we've been blessed with the gift of knowledge and skill that was passed down by our instructors and our grandmasters and everything. Mm-hmm. And it's a representative of us, our heritage, our culture, and sayang naman na, and even sa Pilipinas, sa sarili nating bansa na, they overlook it. And it's like, you know what, there's a lot of great people out there within the community that are very skilled and knowledgeable, that's willing to teach and share their journeys and their skills and stuff. It's just an opportunity to kind of grab it and say, you know what, I take the opportunity to learn it. So very, very awesome, very awesome.
And if we don't teach them the right way, someone else will teach them the wrong way.
Yeah, which actually goes to Kuya Doug's comment here. We also learn bad habits from our teachers' cult mentality. So, I guess we, try to steer away from that and really kind of change the landscape.
Yeah. So, how it was in the past? Your Balintawak, your 12 Pares, your Petiter Sharico. Let's drop all of that and just say we're Filipinos.
Yeah.
Let's lead with that one. Let's lead with that one. Not with style.
Not with
style, correct.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah, I guess that's the best way of saying it. Yeah, we're Filipinos. Let's go represent this. Teka lang, that's which is Rich Tiangco, sharing our culture via our FMA is valuable. Awesome, RJ. Sachi, great interview fun as always. Good night, peeps. I was again see Sachi na good night na. But G and Bobby, G and Bobby would, within the seminars would say, hey, you know what? Go and be a good example. That's, just as a GM being able to propagate that and push that across his organization and us instructors and stuff. He's like, that's pretty much kind of sums up some of that too as well. So it's great.
I just wanted to say one thing, just so that people know the truth. Filipinos created karaoke, not the Japanese.
Yeah, about the debate. All right. And then, so are you gonna be teaching now? So you're gonna have regular class? Ano na ba? May regular class ka na?
Yeah, I'm trying to create now the Zoom instruction teaching via Zoom, and
Okay.
I'm still I'm still in the process of creating a local dojo
Dojo, yeah.
here. But again, it's a different. I want to teach children, so because everybody knows that people mostly who teach Kali Eskrima, it's mostly a garage dojo, right? A backdoor,
Back.
Backdoor school.
Yeah,
But I wanted a regular school where I can mostly concentrate on kids. But again, it's and up to a certain age, that's when you start teaching them Kali. But a lot of it is going to be my yaoyan
Yeah.
for kids. No,
you got a good fundamental of base there. Hey.
yeah. And then we'll see where God takes us with this one. But again, it's the thought of trying to raise children again. And the more important thing is, what I tried to do before is part of the lessons, like, and I used to get this from parents, is like, when you teach children, make sure you teach them, like, hey, your homework for this week, make sure you hold the door for your mom whenever you get in and out of the car or inside of the house. These things have to be incorporated into what we teach in the martial arts, and because that kind of is gone. Our Filipino culture of mano po and all that stuff. Respect.
Yeah, the respect culture. Yeah. Well said.
You know how children are these days.
Yeah. Kailangan put that foundation back in. That's actually a great one to really kind of put in. Nakakalimutan natin minsan eh. We get used to the day-to-day and everything. Yeah. Kuya Paul, you got final words before we kind of wrap it up? Magano tayo dito?
Yeah, well, sa mga nanonood ho sa Pilipinas, so sana na-enjoy nyo ho ang show namin kasi we try to get the person behind the art.
Yes.
Not the other way around. So maganda po ang message na minungkahi sa atin ni RJ. So hindi nyo alam na artista pala tong na-invite namin. Maraming salamat sa pagtangkilik nyo sa amin. Julius, your turn.
Julius, final words.
Wala, marami lang po salamat. Gusto ko yung pag-uusapan natin, tambay lang tayo, talagang usapang Pilipino eh.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do with our channel. That's what sets us different from the others. It's like kind of like the Filipino flavor. Parang nag-uusap lang, nakikipag-hangout lang tayo, tambay. You know what I mean? Sa kanto. You know what I mean?
Sa susunod, usapang lasing.
Yeah. We will have that. We will have that
too. Pero not recorded and
live nga lang. Yeah, it was a pleasure, RJ. I mean,
thank you for having me. It was an honor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The commonality of your, very good, very nice.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, hold ka muna, RJ. Let me just kind of stop the live. Everybody, good night.
Good night.
Make sure to subscribe, support the channel, everybody. Have a good one. Peace out.
God
good
bless.
Night. And I got two things to turn off. Let me turn off.